Participating in committee interactions with other arms of government and members of public during public participation. You will find yourself listening to your constituents. At other times, you will find yourself, like I did when I was following up on the pesticide petition that I put in Parliament, spending long hours with scientists, training me and explaining to me the dangers of the pesticides that I was proposing to have banned in the country. So yes, you will spend a lot of time outside plenary. You will also spend a lot of time explaining the decisions of Parliament to the electorate. For example, when the public debt ceiling was raised by Parliament, then members of the public will take you on, and it will be your responsibility as a parliamentarian to use every avenue and every platform you have to ensure that you explain all those issues. Honorable members, your mandate, as I have briefly mentioned, is wide and calls for adequate preparation on your part. The theme for this induction is setting the stage for a smooth takeoff. This was carefully selected to reflect this reality. This theme refers to the consequent transition to the 13th Parliament, requiring an efficient and effective framework for enhancing people and adopting best practices in so doing. Aware that a number of you are first-time members of Parliament, it is important that we undertake this induction training to leverage on our skills and competencies in our legislative work. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, key among the issues to be discussed in this induction is the committee system of Parliament. As you are aware, the Committee of the House are the workshop of Parliament and play a pivotal role in the work of Parliament. Committees will accord members an opportunity to adequately serve the people they represent. Under the revised National Assembly standing orders, the number of committees have been increased and their respective mandates reconstituted. I therefore encourage those who will become chairpersons of committees to be diligent and proactive and responsive in their work. Chairpersons of committees should raise any issues that they require to be addressed at the meetings of the liaison committee, which I undertake to hold regularly. This will ultimately aid in the improving the workings and output of the House during this parliamentary term. Honorable members, I wish to state that the induction retreat serves as a benchmark for future engagements in the House. Therefore, I implore members to dutifully attend the sessions, even for those who are re-elected members and who have attended previous inductions of Parliament. It is also an opportunity and almost an obligation for senior members of Parliament who are on their second term and above to also use it as an opportunity to train and teach and induct the new members of Parliament. I know that I was privileged in a session like this 5 years ago to be adopted by the Honorable Pukose, Member of Parliament of Endebess, and he sat with me throughout the sessions in Parliament and helped me on many occasions to know what to do. I would ask him, I want to say this, and he would tell me, it's a point of order, and then I would go on. So yes, I ask each and every one of the senior members of Parliament to adopt a new member of Parliament. I also request that you reach out to the members of staff of the parliamentary service, because Parliament has some of the most brilliant brains in the country. The economists in the parliamentary office are some of the best I have ever seen in my life in the public service. The lawyers are also top grade. And believe me, as a law teacher, if they say they are top grade, they are top grade. Leverage on them, and they will be able to assist you. And I know that I have one whose name I will hold. I call him my bunge professor, because every time I would bounce ideas on him, and it was of great support. I urge all new members to use that method. It does work. Honorable members, before I conclude my remarks, I wish to highlight a few tips for success, especially for the new members among us, which we can use to guide us in our role as representatives of the people. 1, learn the guiding norms, the Constitution, the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, and the National Assembly Standing Orders. I know that I was told by our immediate former leader of majority, Aden Duale, that MP for Garissa, who then said to me, if you don't learn the standing orders, you then will not have any confidence and you won't be able to speak up. So if you know the standing orders, it gives you more confidence to be able to address the House. Thank you for that advice, leader. Secondly, manage the NGCDF well, and for the women representatives, the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, because if you manage that well, you surely will be re-elected. 3, listen to your people. Unfortunately, most MPs wait until the last year of their term in Parliament to start doing what they call listening to the ground. Nasikiza ground. Start listening now to the people you represent, or else you will live to regret. I know, and when we talk about listening to the ground and representing your people, it doesn't necessarily mean even it's being their voice at a national platform. You have to be their voice. I know some people one time said, but Gladys didn't campaign much on the ground. And I said to them, I've been campaigning for 4 years. When I was involved in the BBI campaign, that was representing my people. When I was involved in the Inua Mama campaign, that was representing my people. So representing your people doesn't necessarily confine you to interacting personally with them, but being their voice at the national level. When I made TV appearances, it was not for showbiz. I was the voice of my people at the national stage, the people that I represent. And number 4, be present. It does not, one of the issues you will realize here, that many of the persons who have been elected to Parliament, in this 13th Parliament, are either patrons of the NCDF, or they were personal assistants of the Member of Parliament, or they were maybe the chairperson of the board. Why? Because that was the person closest to the people. So it is important to be present. Don't just send a check to the ground with your personal assistant. Believe me, they'll replace you soon enough. And do not agree to be isolated. Be close to the people. I know that I refuse to have any of my bodyguards in sight at all. I tell them, I don't want my people to see you. You just have to stay somewhere and watch out. But you can't flag people in front of out of my way, because that way you get isolated. And lastly, sharpen your debate and oversight skills. Your participation in respective committees gives you a training ground. If you want to be a great debater and a hawk-eyed member in relation to oversight matters, attend committee meetings and participate in committee meetings. It will make you a much better debater on the floor. Also, if it is not the matter is coming before the House and it was not before your committee, always the staff members and researchers at the parliamentary offices would be happy to give you notes and be able to take you through the issues. And therefore, make good use of them. They are extremely helpful. I recall a member in the 12th Parliament who never attended any committee meetings. One day, he was put to task on a matter being contributed to in the House. All he could say is, Nisawa. The member never made it back to the House, all because when he was asked whether he was okay with the squatters in some land in his constituency being evicted, his response was Nisawa. I hope you will not be in that category of Nisawa too, Mheshimiwa. Finally, I commend the acting clerk of the National Assembly, Madam Sarah Kiyoko, a long-standing parliamentary officer, and all the staff of Parliament for their efforts in preparing for the 13th Parliament, starting from the pre-swearing-in sessions that were executed well, and I request you to continue facilitating the honourable members with an elevated degree of proficiency, professionalism, and impartiality. And also, on my own behalf, I want to thank each and every one of you for electing me as the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. I am humbled by your great honor, and I promise never to let you down. That to receive your endorsement was great honor to me and a privilege, and I thank you for that. And I undertake to work with you daily to ensure that the 13th Parliament will be the very best Parliament ever. And I know with our Honourable Speaker, Moses Wetangula, we will get to great heights. With 30 years experience in his back, we can never fail. And lastly now, honourable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my distinct honour and privilege to invite the Honourable Moses Wetangula, EGH MP, Speaker of the National Assembly, to give his keynote and address and officially open this induction retreat. Welcome, Honourable Speaker.
Inquisitive populace, and I know without exception the 13th Parliament is going to face the same inquisitive populace. So to facilitate you to cope with these demands, the Parliamentary Service Commission has recruited for you competent staff in the various directorates. And at the beginning and in this meeting, I would like to urge you, members, to make use of the staff available to you, both the staff in committee services, in procedure, in drafting, and also in the budget-making process, so that you will be able to be properly exposed to do your work. Honourable members, while I go on to conclude my remarks, this is the first activity in terms of equipping you to execute your roles. Following this induction program, we are going to organize specific induction programs for you at committee level, so that once committees have been selected and put in place and members have been assigned, you will have an opportunity to have specific induction programs at committee level. Later on, we shall also organize another event for you to be able to review after a short while how you started and how you are continuing. This is the post-election seminar. Besides that, there will be continuous capacity development for members in Kenya and also through exposure, so that you are able to do your work. We have plenty of materials that we have given you, which you will find members. Please allow me to we get to start working as soon as possible, since Parliament will be being opened not after a very short while, a long while after this. We had to do this event here. The inconveniences that you underwent last night, I take this opportunity on behalf of management to apologize to you, and we will make every effort to make sure that you are comfortable. I want to thank you for your understanding, and at this juncture, call upon the Deputy Speaker to make her remarks and carry the program forward. Thank you very much.
The Honorable Moses Wetangula, Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable Justice Daniel Musinga, Judge of Appeal and President of the Court of Appeal, representing the Chief Justice, Justice Martha Koome, Honorable Members, Madam Clerk of the National Assembly, Madam Sarah Kioko, Dr. Elisha Zebedi Ongoya, Advocate of the High Court of Kenya, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Allow me to begin my remarks by congratulating all honorable members, individually and collectively, for their recent election victory, and to have the opportunity to serve this nation. Indeed, it is a privileged position. Out of 50 million Kenyans, you are the select 349 persons to represent our country. The promotion of good governance requires a parliament that can effectively perform the three cardinal functions of representation, oversight regarding the executive, and lawmaking. As parliamentarians, we must build a better tradition of rule adherence and integrity to ensure the greater public confidence in the political process and in our common vocation. Our role as members does not mean, however, that we are going to spend most of our time in the House at plenary. As we are going to find out during this induction, an MP spends far more time working outside the House. The job transcends across a range of portfolios.